Man, let me tell you something, Quinnen Williams was absolutely worth every bit of attention he drew last night. The Cowboys' defensive line looked completely different with him on the field. And honestly, the Jets might have underestimated just how much of an impact this guy can have. From the very first snap, you could see the difference. Lined up alongside Kenny Clark, Osa Digizua, Donovan Ezaraku, and Davin Clowney, he instantly established himself as the guy who could change the dynamics of the defensive front. It wasn't just about raw stats or plays that show up in the box score. It was the kind of presence that forces quarterbacks to think twice before stepping up in the pocket. Quinnen was everywhere, pressing the line, setting depth, and creating pressure in ways that completely disrupted the rhythm of the Raiders' offense. You could almost feel the quarterback's hesitation before he even made a move, and that hesitation alone is the kind of thing that flips games. Watching him on that first snap, it was clear Geno Smith hadn't even gotten a chance to fully set his stance before Quinnen was practically on top of him. His hands were right on the right guard, slapping him, pushing, driving, and immediately forcing the offensive line into a reactionary stance. The depth he maintained, compared to everyone else on the field, was ridiculous. And the moment of contact showed just how dominant he could be. That kind of push doesn't just collapse pockets, it forces decisions. Geno had to throw the ball quicker than he wanted, because if he held onto it for even half a second longer, we were looking at Quinnen Williams' first official sack in a Cowboys uniform. It's moments like that which demonstrate not only the talent, but also the football IQ. Because pressuring a quarterback isn't just about speed or strength, it's about positioning, reading the offensive line, and controlling lanes, and Quinnen did all of that on a play-by-play basis, constantly forcing the Jets to double-team him, constantly making blockers uncomfortable, and consistently creating opportunities for his teammates, even when he was up against doubles. He wasn't just giving up. There were plays where he got pushed wide, but instead of fading into the background, he worked his way around and maintained lane integrity. That's not an easy skill to master, balancing aggression with discipline, but Quinnen handled it perfectly. He never overcommitted, never left a lane open, and always made sure that his rush had a purpose. Every step, every hand placement, every movement was calculated to maximize disruption, and the result: a quarterback constantly forced to throw early, offensive linemen constantly out of position, and linebackers able to make plays that might have otherwise been impossible. That's the kind of subtle, yet game-changing impact that doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, but is undeniable when you watch the tape. On one sequence, Quinnen lined up in a 3-tech, and within seconds he had completely frozen the left guard with a simple but devastating move. That hesitation was all it took to turn a routine play into a half-sack situation. Alongside Kenny Clark, the pocket was collapsing from the inside, and the coordination between Quinnen and Clark was remarkable. The timing, the synergy, they pushed the quarterback, forced hurried decisions, and made the offense adjust on the fly. That's not just individual skill, that's someone who elevates the entire defensive line. And you could see it every time the ball snapped. The impact was immediate, obvious, and consistent. Even on plays where he didn't record a sack, Quinnen's presence was felt. He consistently disrupted timing, forced the quarterback to accelerate his reads, and altered the offensive line's blocking schemes. There were multiple instances where he caused the quarterback to throw early, resulting in incomplete passes or tackles for loss by teammates, who were able to capitalize on the pressure he created. His hand placement, his leverage, and his ability to read the offense allowed him to manipulate blockers without ever getting reckless. He maintained lane integrity, controlled rush paths, and consistently put himself in positions to make a difference, not just with sacks, but with the overall efficiency and effectiveness of the defense. Quinnen's effort and technique were relentless. He maintained engagement with multiple blockers at once, using strength and positioning to either shed or redirect them. On plays where the defenders were needed to contain him, he still managed to force mistakes and create space for others to make plays. It's that kind of effort, that kind of intelligent aggression, that separates good defensive tackles from game changers. He wasn't just running through assignments, he was controlling the game plan from the inside, dictating pressure, and making it impossible for the quarterback to comfortably step up in the pocket. And it wasn't just strength, it was awareness. He read the quarterback, anticipated movements, adjusted his rush angle, and flowed with the lineman when necessary to ensure he maintained leverage and positioning for a potential tackle. That kind of discipline is rare. And it's exactly why the Cowboys' interior line looked so formidable last night. Watching him line up with ODELL again, you could see that he was the one demanding attention. Offensive linemen had no choice but to respond to his push, and even then, it was never clean. His hands were consistently in the right place. He maintained outside leverage, and he pushed defenders off balance, creating chaos in the backfield. On multiple snaps, he bull rushed guards, forced them to abandon proper blocking techniques, and repeatedly got penetration that put the quarterback in uncomfortable positions. That constant pressure is exhausting for any offense, and Quinnen thrived in it, showing a mix of power, technique, and instinct that kept the Jets guessing. Beyond raw physicality, Quinnen's understanding of rush lane integrity was evident. He intentionally shaped his path to close off escape lanes, funneling the quarterback into predictable areas while still maintaining the ability to make plays on the ball. That kind of technique demonstrates a deep football IQ, the kind that allows defensive tackles to elevate the play of their entire unit. By consistently keeping quarterbacks contained and manipulating offensive linemen, Quinnen made the jobs of his linebackers and secondary much easier. The ball came out quicker, passes were forced, and the defense was always in control of the situation. It's the type of influence that doesn't just affect one play. It affects the entire defensive strategy and keeps offenses on edge from snap to snap every play. Quinnen brought intensity, precision, and awareness, even in situations where the ball was outside his immediate reach. He maintained his rush lane, anticipated movements, and adjusted to ensure he maximized disruption. He didn't just chase stats, he executed a game plan. He read his opponents, and he applied consistent pressure that shaped the course of every series he was on the field for. From alignment to finish, from initial contact to follow through, his technique was methodical, dominant, and game-altering. You could see why the Cowboys brought him in. And it's clear that this is someone who is going to be a cornerstone for the defensive front, setting the tone for every game and elevating everyone around him. As the game went on, Quinnen Williams continued to assert himself as a dominant force on the interior line every snap. It felt like the Jets were constantly on the back foot, reacting to him instead of executing their own plays. The way he maintained leverage, pushed the pocket, and forced defenders into uncomfortable positions was masterful. He wasn't just about raw power. He was intelligent, disciplined, and perfectly timed in his attacks. On multiple occasions, he manipulated blockers with subtle hand placement, used his body to create separation, and maintained his lanes so that there were no gaps for the quarterback to escape. That kind of play isn't flashy on the stat sheet, but it changes the game for everyone around him. One of the things that stood out most was his ability to collapse the pocket from the interior. Quarterbacks often step up to avoid edge rushers, but Quinnen forced Geno Smith and the Raiders' offensive line to make uncomfortable adjustments. Within seconds of the snap, his push didn't just pressure the quarterback, it dictated the speed of the entire play. Quick throws, hurried decisions, and the inability to set up properly became routine because Quinnen was a constant threat. His presence meant that every snap had the potential for disruption, and that unpredictability is what makes a defensive tackle elite. You could see the offense scrambling to account for him, double-teaming when necessary, and still finding that they were losing ground against his bull rush and technique. Even when he faced doubles or triple teams, Quinnen handled it with poise. He didn't panic or overextend himself. Instead, he maintained his path, worked through the blockers, and ensured that his rush remained effective. On several plays, he was pushed slightly wide but immediately redirected his momentum to stay in the quarterback's lane, ensuring that there was no free path for escape. That level of discipline, combined with relentless effort, is rare. Many players either overcome it or allow themselves to be neutralized when faced with multiple blockers. But Quinnen turned it into an opportunity to dominate and create chaos in the backfield. He forced the quarterback to make decisions faster than planned, which in turn allowed the secondary and linebackers to capitalize on the disruption he caused. Throughout the game, it became evident that Quinnen wasn't just playing for himself, he was enhancing the entire defense. His ability to read the offensive line, anticipate movement, and adapt in real time allowed his teammates to perform at a higher level. When you watch him, it's not just about the sacks or pressures. It's about how he changes the dynamics of the entire defensive front. ODELL, Kenny Clark, and the rest of the line all looked better because Quinnen was commanding attention and creating space. The offense had no choice but to adjust. and every adjustment was a reaction to his dominance. That kind of impact is immeasurable because it influences everything from timing routes to quarterback decision-making, ultimately making the defense far more efficient and dangerous. One of the most impressive aspects of his game is his consistency. From the opening drive to the final series, Quinnen maintained the same level of effort, technique, and awareness. He didn't let fatigue slow him down or alter his approach. Each snap was executed with precision. Whether it was a simple bull rush, an adjustment to a double team, or reading the quarterback's eyes to anticipate the next move, that relentless approach not only pressures the opposing offense physically, but also mentally. Quarterbacks know he's coming. Linemen know he's coming, yet he still consistently disrupts the play. That mental impact is just as important as the physical one. And it's clear that Quinnen understands that aspect of the game deeply. Quinnen also demonstrated a high level of football intelligence. That made him a nightmare for the Raiders' offense. He read plays, adjusted his path mid-rush, and didn't commit unnecessarily on multiple occasions. He followed the linemen's movement strategically, maintaining leverage and positioning to ensure that even if the quarterback tried to escape, there were no open lanes. That situational awareness is what separates dominant players from average ones. While other defensive tackles may rely on brute force, Quinnen combines strength, speed, and intelligence in a way that makes him nearly unblockable in critical moments. Every step, every hand placement, every shift in position was designed to maximize disruption and keep the offense under pressure. And he executed it flawlessly throughout the game, even in moments where the quarterback managed to avoid an immediate sack. Quinnen's influence was clear. The pressure he applied consistently forced hurried throws and mistakes, contributing to incomplete passes or tackles for loss by teammates. His ability to control lanes while still keeping himself in a position to make a play is a testament to both his discipline and his technique. He understands that being disruptive is more than just taking down the quarterback. It's about shaping the game for everyone else on the field, forcing mistakes, and creating opportunities for his team to capitalize. That kind of impact makes him invaluable, and it's why the Cowboys' defensive front looked unstoppable at times. What makes Quinnen truly special is how he combines physical dominance with effort and technique. He doesn't rely solely on raw power. He reads the play, adapts to blockers, and applies relentless pressure without losing discipline. His bull rushes consistently disrupted timing, his hands kept defenders off balance, and his understanding of lane integrity ensured that quarterbacks had no easy path to escape. That combination of skill, intelligence, and effort creates a player who is not just a threat individually, but a catalyst for the entire defense. Every snap he played last night demonstrated his ability to change the course of a game simply by being on the field. And that's the kind of presence every team dreams of having on their defensive line. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. The rumor mill is spinning faster than ever in the world of professional football, and fans across the nation are holding their breath. Whispers are circulating that ODELL Beckham Jr., one of the most electrifying wide receivers of his generation, could be on his way to Dallas. Yes, you read that right, Dallas. Sources familiar with the matter suggest that conversations are underway. And while nothing is official, the mere possibility has already sent shockwaves through social media and sports forums alike. Fans of the Cowboys are in disbelief. The thought of Beckham donning the star-studded blue and silver uniform is enough to spark heated debates online. Could this be the missing piece Dallas has been looking for to shake up the league? Analysts are already speculating about how his dynamic play style would mesh with the current roster, while rival fans are scrambling to imagine strategies to contain one of the game's most explosive athletes. Every highlight reel he's produced over the years, those gravity-defying catches, the quicksilver routes, the jaw-dropping touchdowns, now seems destined for the Texas skyline. At least if these rumors hold any weight. Of course, with a name like ODELL Beckham Jr., speculation comes with the territory. His career has been full of headline-grabbing moments, from clutch performances to off-field controversies. But that's precisely why the chatter around Dallas feels different. It's not just another trade or signing. It's the kind of move that could redefine the league's power dynamics. Social media is ablaze with fan theories, mock rosters, and yes, memes, all imagining Beckham electrifying Cowboys games and transforming every matchup into must-watch TV. Yet amidst the excitement, there's caution. No deal has been confirmed, and insiders insist that negotiations are delicate. Every detail, contract terms, potential trade packages, locker room chemistry could make or break the deal. Still, the rumor persists, growing louder with each passing hour. The idea of Odell Beckham Jr. in Dallas has evolved from a whisper to a roar, and the sports world is collectively holding its breath, waiting to see whether this jaw-dropping possibility will turn into reality. If it does, the fallout could be monumental. Cowboys fans are already imagining highlight reels. Analysts are readying their takes, and rival teams may be shaking in their cleats. For now, though, it remains a tantalizing rumor, one that has captured the imagination of football fans everywhere. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.